man. Hey everybody, this is a video on how to brine a turkey. Turkeys are best by far brine. When you brine a turkey, it's going to be moist. It's going to kind of taste like a little bit of a honey baked ham. You're really going to enjoy it. It's going to be juicy. So let's just get down to it. I want to talk a little bit about buying a turkey. So you don't have to spend, $100 on a diesel organic turkey. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. You could get a good turkey. For instance, this is a turkey that I got at Grocery Outlet we have in California. It's non-hormone. It's not a free range, but it's a small farm. This turkey was $18. It's gonna be almost just as delicious as a very fancy turkey, and for $18 you can feed 6 to 8 people with leftovers. So let's get started here. I'm going to set the turkey aside and just go and talk about how we brine a turkey. So the first thing you need to brine a turkey is you need a big ass pot. Talking big, probably your lobster pot, something you use. So I've got a pot of water here, and I've got about 20 cups of water, which, you basically just want to submerge the turkey fully in the water. I mean, that's key. So you're going to start with, I like to use brown sugar and dark brown sugar. This is going to make your turkey have a nice caramelized color and great flavor. So I'm going to start here with about a cup of brown sugar. Put that in there. And then in terms of salt, you've got options for salt. You could use any salt, but kosher salt, the coarse ground kosher salt, is a staple for cooking. I'm going to use some sea salt instead today as an experiment. So it might need a little less of the sea salt because it's a little more dense. But so about the same equal parts. We did a cup of brown sugar, dark, and then we're going to do a cup of salt. All right, so here we're going to add our cup of salt. Now, the thing with this brine, we're going to take a wooden spoon and kind of mix this up. Now that crystallized salt's going to probably take a little while to dissolve. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make a solution that when you taste it, you're going to be like, damn, that's pretty salty and sugary. So we're going to taste that, and you know what? That is not sweet enough, and that is not salty enough. So we added about a cup of each. So we're gonna add more sugar, and we're gonna add more salt, because we want you to be able to taste. If your brine is not sugary and salty enough, it's not going to get into that bird. So you really want to make sure that when you taste that, you're like, damn, that's pretty sugary. All right, so we're gonna get a little more sugar and a little more salt. All right, so I've stirred this around a little bit, and to me, the crystallized salt we used is pretty salty. So but not enough sugar. So I'm gonna add another cup of brown sugar here. So put that in, and then I'm gonna stir that around. All right, so now the fun part begins. So basically, you can put anything in. There's some basic things that are really great to put in here, but you can really put anything in here. In terms of, you want to use honey instead of sugar, you can use maple syrup. There's all sorts of things. But basically, some of the key ingredients are I've already made. I like putting apples in, so I always put a couple apples in. I cut up an onion here. I'm going to put an onion. You put 2 onions. Whoa, it's a little splashing. Garlic cloves, at least like 4 or 5, even 10 garlic. Can't have enough garlic. Put that in there. Rosemary. Rosemary's key. You wanted some rosemary in there. I don't have any thyme, but you should put thyme in there as well. Fresh thyme. I've got some parsley here. Put some parsley in there. I've got some star anise. Star anise. This is an Asian spice. It's really delicious. Adds kind of a nice flavor to it. Star anise. I got some cloves. A little bit of cloves. Maybe a tablespoon of cloves. Put that in there. All right. And then, yeah, anything you want. You name it, you can put it in there. And we're going to also put some peppercorns in there. I like a little peppercorns in there. So So we're gonna add some peppercorns. Take the top off here. Probably like a tablespoon of peppercorns as well. And that's looking good. That's looking good. So with this brine, you can do a brine for 1 day. I recommend doing a brine for 2 days. You know, you're gonna need some refrigerator space, but 2 days is gonna really get that bird saturated and nice with the flavors. Yeah, you just mix that up, and then we're going to basically take the turkey, put it in there, and see how we did for the amount of water we've got in there. All right, so here we go. This is the big moment. We're gonna take our turkey. You know, we've got a nice 15, 16 pound turkey. We're just gonna put the turkey right in here in the solution and see how we did. And you can see that turkey is just going right in there. It's pretty much perfect. So that was 20 cups of water, about 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of salt. And this is looking really good. I also usually take, the neck is in there too, and I also usually take the gizzards and the liver. I put them in there as well, let them marinate. Usually fry those up separately as a nice little treat. But this is it. Don't strain your back. If this is pretty darn heavy, so you might want to get someone to help you put this in the refrigerator. But 2 days, you don't have to do anything to this. It's fully submerged. You can put a lid on it and just leave it in the refrigerator. And that's it. We're gonna do another video on how to cook this turkey, but for right now, this bird's good to go, and it's gonna be delicious. Thanks for joining me.